All right, fans. Our next guest is a Gotham FC fan favorite, hailing from the great state of New Jersey. First time guest, this warrior wears number 5. Welcome to the podcast, Nicole Baxter.
Woo!
Woohoo! Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We are super excited for this interview because your journey is so interesting and you always have so much to say. So I can't wait to talk to you and learn more from you.
Yeah, I'm excited to tell you guys a little bit about myself.
We're still buzzing from Pride Night. That was an amazing night for soccer. And
Oh my
I
God, that
always
was
tell
amazing.
people, absolutely. If you come to one game, make it Pride Night because it's
Yeah.
always a great
Totally.
atmosphere. Being so this is such a diverse team, does Pride Night feel different for the players as it does for the fans? Is it a night that you guys look forward to?
Yeah, I would say it feels different. It's just like really fun to celebrate things, honestly, and especially with how much we like put into our outfits and this group just like rallies around celebrations. So to be able to celebrate Pride Night and celebrate a lot of the people who are on our team, it's really exciting for me. It's really exciting for the team. So yeah, I do think that the energy was like really special from the team and from the fans.
Yes,
Absolutely.
it was definitely amazing. We had a good crowd that day. I heard we sold, or you guys sold, about 9,000 tickets, and it was pretty
Hmm.
crowded. So it was amazing. But let me start with some fun questions.
Okay.
And yeah, Gary's the one who does the hard questions. I'm the easygoing one. So
Yeah, hit me with some easy ones.
Yeah, I'm the bad cop.
no, but let's start easy. Tell me what New Jersey beach is your favorite?
Oh goodness. This is tough because this is really tough. I love the beach, but there are reasons why you go to different beaches. So like Belmar is the most convenient for us to
Hmm.
go to. It's probably like the closest to where we live, but I personally love going to Brigantine and like the Atlantic City area. I just love like the beach vibes around there.
Oh my God. I was in Brigantine during the pandemic. And yeah, the
Mm.
vibe was, even though it was during a pandemic, well, it was kind of out of the pandemic already, but the vibe was really good. I was like, oh my God, I need a beach house here.
Oh my
But
gosh, right?
totally.
Like I don't know if you've ever been to Laguna Beach Bar, but for like a second you
No.
feel like you might be like in the Caribbean and it
Yeah.
tricks you. So that's why I
Yeah.
love it there. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
good
And we
spot.
have to take advantage of it because we only get 3 solid months of summer. So we have
I
to take
know.
advantage.
And this year's been weird, like we'll have a warm day and then a really cold day. So when you get a warm day, like you have to go for it. You could go
Yeah.
straight to the beach.
Yeah. And then it's raining.
Yeah,
but,
yeah,
but that's New
exactly.
Jersey. But that's
Yeah,
New Jersey.
yeah, it
But
really is.
anyway, now tell us your favorite New Jersey music artist, if you have any, or just your favorite music artist.
Oh, that's tough. So the Jonas Brothers are originally from Jersey.
Oh
They
Yeah.
yeah,
moved to
you're
LA.
right.
I know this is like not. I know most people will say like Bruce Springsteen, like more pop, right? Like solo artist or something. I love the Jonas Brothers. I really love the Jonas Brothers.
Yes, yes. I was watching that new show Nick has with Shakira. I love Shakira, by the way. So I've
Oh,
been
I love
watching that.
Shakira.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I was
good.
I was watching that new show they have about dancing and doing like TikTok dances. It's kind of interesting, but
Oh, I don't know
anyway.
if I've ever seen it.
Really, it's pretty
I'm
new.
like an old school Jonas Brothers gal. Like I grew up like in love with them, obviously. Like that's like my age group.
Now, let's jump a little. We went from music. Now we're gonna go to
Yeah.
movies.
All
So,
right, hit
what
me.
what was the last movie you went to see at the movie theaters?
Oh, I saw Doctor Strange with some of my teammates. And it was
Oh,
funny, I like Marvel movies and, like, superhero movies, but I have trouble keeping up with them, like, there's so many of them. So we were, like, 10 minutes into Doctor Strange, and I was with Dami Richardson, one of the girls,
yeah.
and I was like, "I have no clue what I'm watching, to be honest." Like, there's no way I'm up to date. I'm like, "Which one is even Doctor Strange?" I have no idea. So I that's the last one I saw at the movies, but it was, like, more for the popcorn and the fun of it than to actually, like, pay
That was
attention to
my
the
next
movie.
question: popcorn or no popcorn? But you already
Oh,
answered
yeah,
it.
like, I go to the movies to eat popcorn, like, if I didn't wanna do that, I'd just watch a movie at my house.
I know, but the popcorn is ridiculous. You spend like $100 in just
We s
popcorn.
It's ridiculous. We spend so much money at the movies, it's so ridiculous, like, between
I
tickets,
know.
and then you also obviously have to get a soda and candy, so you end up just
Yep,
like,
you
"Why am
gotta
I
get
spending
like
$100 at the movies?"
Exactly. Got to get that sweet and salty and
Yeah,
drink.
exactly,
I love
exactly.
going to the one in Morristown because it has the reclining chairs. That's
Yeah,
my favorite.
we hit the one. I think it's in East Hanover, but we don't go unless there's reclining chairs. Yeah.
But let me ask you about your grocery shopping. Are you
Ugh.
taking bags now? Because I saw you're taking no. For
Oh
anyone
my
that
gosh.
doesn't know and it's listening to this, in New Jersey, they just passed a law where there's no more plastic bags. So if you go to the grocery store, they're not giving you bags. You have to bring your own bag. So tell us about that, Nicole.
Yeah, so I didn't know that, obviously. So I posted when I posted that story, I went to the grocery store. I had to carry all my groceries, like, in my arms to my car, and I posted about it, and I got so many replies just, like, shaming me for how long it had been since that law passed, like, exposing that I hadn't been to the grocery store, like, I'd been eating out so much, we've been traveling so much. So I was, like, so upset about it. I'm like, "Really? Like, grocery bags, whatever?" And now I have my, like, reusable bag, and I'm low key like, "Alright, that was actually a pretty good idea," 'cause, like, you have to get a reusable bag or you're totally inconvenienced. So it was actually a really good idea. Like, I'll give that one to them. I wasn't on board at first, but now I'm like, all right, this is smart for the
Yeah.
environment. This is actually
Yeah.
smart.
Yeah, me too. It's
Yeah. So I've
inconvenient, but
adjusted.
yeah, it teaches you to be a little more responsible. So now I keep one
Yeah.
in the car at all times because
Same.
you
I
you,
have
you
my
never
Trader
know.
Joe's bag in my trunk and it won't happen again.
But now I'm gonna change the subject a little bit, and we were gonna go back to Fit Day. Fit Day was amazing. How would you describe like your fit style?
Oh, I'm like a comfy fit type of girl. So it's really hard to keep up with this team. Like, this team, it's so stressful for me. This team is so fashionable. And like, there's just in no world will I ever keep up with like a Mandy and Estelle. And so for
Right?
me, I think I just have to like not try to do that or else I just disappoint myself. So it's like I just have to stick to my like comfy fits. Like I have like 1,000 sweatshirts and like t-shirts and I try to just like roll with what I'm comfortable in instead of I look at their outfits and I'm like, I need to be more like that, but I just don't think it's something I'm capable of.
Yeah,
So
you need to go
so
peek at their fit
I kn
before the day.
Mandy's actually my roommate, and I think, like, before every game, I'm like, "Why don't I just ask her to dress me? Like, why do I keep trying to do this on my own?"
You got to take
Right?
advantage, girl.
I
You,
know, and
you
we
have it
we
right
actually
there.
keep saying, we're like, "How fun would it be if, like, for one game, Mandy just dressed everyone?" And then we were like, "Well, that'd
That'd
be
be
fun
great.
for us, but, like, is she really gonna dress 30 people?"
Yeah.
We're like, "I don't know
Yo,
if she can actually do that."
gonna be
So,
her part
yeah.
time.
Yeah, yeah, right? It's like a whole 'nother job. But, yeah, so I'm just, like, I'm like an athleisure girl
Yeah.
at heart,
And
so
now and now you even have to like compete with Sloan. I saw Sloan there.
oh my gosh, that's not even a thing, like, I could never compete with Sloan. That baby is, like, more stylish than almost our entire team. I mean, how could you not be if you're Ashlyn and Allie's daughter, honestly?
Oh
Like,
my god.
Sloan has better clothes than I do, as she should.
Definitely.
She's royalty.
Definitely. And talking about that game day, did you see that tifo from Cloud9? Was what's your
Unreal.
favorite? What's your favorite one so far?
My favorite one so far was our last home game before that with a bunch of the players on it talking about fashion and that really big one that they did,
Oh,
that was unreal to, like
yeah.
I don't know, that one was so cool when they dropped. I love Cloud9, I love their tifos. When that one dropped down, like, my jaw was on the floor. To us, I don't think that everyone fully understands, like, how hard that is for
Yeah.
a supporters group to, like, put together and that they literally do it themselves. I don't even know how like, we need, like, a whole behind the scenes show of them making these tifos because that I mean, it's so much work, and it's, like, so impressive that they're able to put it together so well, like, if I tried to paint anything like that, it would just look like blobs. I can't believe how well they do with, like, all the tifos, it's amazing.
Yeah. We definitely need
Yeah.
to document that sometime. But
I know,
I've
right?
yeah, I'm talking too much. I'm gonna let Gary talk for a little bit.
No, no,
All right.
talk all you want.
All right. Here comes the bad cop. All
Hit
right.
me.
First, congratulations on your first and now second regular season appearances.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
Yeah, 2
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It must have been like a tough 2 seasons. I mean, you're working your butt off, and sometimes, you're not getting your number called. But walk us through the jubilation of that first night, getting your number called for the first regular season game. Were you told beforehand? Walk us through the emotions of getting the call and stepping on RBA's field.
I just had it was a really cool moment, and I tried to stay really present. I've worked really hard for the past 2 years to help this team in any way that I can. Like, I love being a part of this team, and I have loved, like, all the different roles that I've played, and I think sometimes forget how fun it is also contribute on the field because so much of what I contribute happens, like, in the locker room or at the practice field or whatever. Um, Leading up to the game that week, I had a couple good training sessions, and Scott had pulled me aside one day and just, like, emphasized that I'd been playing well and that I should be ready to play, and to me, like, that happens with coaches sometimes, but you just never know, like, what the game is gonna call for. Maybe the game calls for someone who is more physical or specializes in something else, and even though you had a good couple of practices, maybe you're not the player that they need in the game that day. So I didn't
Yeah.
have my hopes up, but I'm no matter if I play in 1 game, 100 games, I'm always the same amount of prepared, so every game, I warm up the same amount on the sideline, even if I have, like, no inkling that I'm gonna play. So when he did finally call my name, I think I t he called my name and I was just like, "Am I allowed to curse on this?" I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
shit."
Go ahead.
I was like, "Oh, shit, oh, shit, oh, shit." And I started, like, running towards him, and I looked at the clock, and it was, like, the 60th minute, which, like, to be subbed in is amazing. To be subbed in with 30 minutes left is like, "Let's
Yeah.
go."
Hell
Um,
yeah. 30
it was
minutes is a
like,
lot.
"Let's go." So I was just trying to stay really present and listen to my name being called and, like, kinda listen to the crowd rally when I came in, and then from there on out, it was just work as hard as you possibly can and do anything you can to help this team win. Because at the time we were down 1-0. So then, like, my instincts just kinda took over, and yeah, I
Yeah,
just, like, played how I know how to play, and then after the game was probably the coolest part because I realized, like, how excited people were for me. I got a lot of hugs, a lot of, like, compliments, like, people were just really happy for me, and a lot of those girls have been watching me, like, work really hard for the past couple years to get that chance, so, yeah, it was just, like, fun to be around teammates and friends and family after that.
yeah, and we're all rooting for you. And the crowd, but the 107 were really loud for you as you were
Oh,
getting onto the
yeah.
field. That must have been awesome to hear
Oh
that.
my god, it was my first reaction was like, "Is that for me?" And I'm like, "What is going on right now?" Because, like, of
But in
course, I have a good relationship with the fans and
yeah.
with my teammates and stuff, but, like, I don't know if anyone even wants me to play. I don't know if people just like me because I tweet a lot, like, I have no idea, so I was just like, "Wow, is
But
that for me?"
last game they were really loud too.
Oh, yeah, that so some of my college friends were at the last game, and my mom was sitting with them, and my mom was like, "Did you hear the cheering when you went in?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think so, like, I think was that for me?" And she was like, "Oh, yeah, your college friends made the entire section scream when you went in, so it was definitely for you." So that one, I, like, wasn't as surprising because, like, my college friends are pretty loud, so I knew that they would, like, drum something up.
And go back to the first game. It seemed like you were ready to go and super excited. Possibly was like a little too excited. So I think you got a card within like the first
Oh, yeah.
5 minutes of being out
Oh
there.
yeah, I
Yeah.
remember.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, were you like, hey
It was a
ref, don't
yellow
take this away
fest.
from me. I just got out of here.
Honestly, I think, like, sometimes when you get subbed on, your adrenaline is so high that
It's
you
true.
almost need 5 minutes to, like, get it out, and then you can, like, calm down and play the way that you actually play. But that one, I my mom was joking that, like, growing up, like, I never got cards. Like, the only card she can remember me getting is because I had, like, a metal clip in my hair in youth soccer, and I got a card for it. Um for that one, no, I don't think that one was, like, adrenaline or too much excitement, like, I was just, like, playing hard and trying to win the ball, but we went over this clip in film where I was, like, running around like a chicken with my head cut off, like, I was out of position and I was on the wrong side of the field, and I was just, like, running so much that they were able to play I was, like I just, like, hurt everyone around me because I was so like, "Ah, oh my god, I'm on the field." So that definitely does happen though, like and that's something I think will come the more that I play, the realization that I have to have some composure those first couple minutes in the game because, like, you still have to play
Yeah.
smart, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it was exciting, it was a fun time.
Yeah. And sometimes it's a tackle, sometimes it's just winning a ball. It just gets you into that game and gets you like settles you down
Mhm.
a little bit. 'Cause your nerves are always
Yes, exactly,
always that.
exactly.
Do you still get nervous before every game?
Every game. I'll be sitting on the bench. Even, like, right, I went, like, 2 years on this team without playing a single minute, and I would sit on the bench nervous the entire time. Like just the thought of going into a game, I think nerves means that you're prepared and, like, excited, and I'm just, like, constantly nervous on the bench. Not, like, in a way where I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm so nervous, don't put me in." I'm just, like, excited at the possibility of getting to be on the field. So, yeah, I'm just, like, constantly nervous, and then once I touch
Yeah.
the ball, it all goes away, which is nice.
Yeah.
So now we're going to take it back a little bit to your beginnings. So you grew up here in New Jersey, and how
Mhm.
did your love for soccer start? And what was like playing soccer growing up in Pennington, New Jersey?
That's a great question. My love for soccer, so I started playing soccer just because my brother played it growing up, but I played a lot of sports because my older brother played it. I have a brother who's a year older than me, and then 2 older siblings as well, so I just kinda, like, followed their lead with everything. But then when I went to high school, I, like, joined a new club soccer team around the same time that I went to the Pennington school, which is, like, a mile from my house in Pennington, and the team was so good. This
Hmm.
team had a bunch of older players who were committed to Duke, UNC, Villanova. Like, Amber Brooks was one of the girls on my team, and she's on, Washington now, who just played.
Hmm.
And I just, like, had so many older girls to look up to, and I just wanted to be like them so bad that I just became, like, so obsessed with soccer, like, so obsessed, and some of those girls were actually able to come out to the game the other night to see me and Amber, and seeing them just reminded me that, like, this is what I've always wanted, like, as much as I never admitted it before, like, I have always wanted to play soccer until I, like, possibly can't play anymore. And that really started with looking up to these older girls who were so talented and worked so hard. It's like all I wanted was to be like those girls. And
Yeah,
that's
but
kind
at
of how
what
I, like, fell so in love with soccer.
but at what point did you know that being a pro soccer player, that's what you wanted?
That's a tough question for me because I think the idea of playing pro soccer was always really cool to me, but I never thought that I was capable of it. I never through high school or college thought to myself, like, that could be me. So I would watch, like, the WPS at the time and then the NWSL, and I would never picture myself as a part of it. I always saw that league as players the people who belonged in it went to, like, the
Hmm.
UNCs of the world, the Stanfords of the world. There weren't many players from William& and Mary who pursued professional soccer, so it wasn't until, like, at the very end of college, I had a couple of assistant coaches who
Hmm.
encouraged me to go to some open tryouts and pursue it and helped me understand that, like, if I worked hard enough, I could be good enough. And so, yeah, it wasn't until I was like 22, 23, 24 that I was like, "Okay, maybe I can do this. And this is what I really want to do." And then once I admitted that it was what I really wanted to do and I worked harder at it, it just, like, became more and more possible.
Yeah, that's awesome. And
Yeah.
your journey to Gotham is an interesting one because you started with Sky Blue, then you went to Sweden, then back
Mhm.
with Gotham FC. Going to Europe was a bit of a leap of faith, especially like for you. But tell me, how was that journey for you?
It was long. It was very long, but it was very cool and very unique, and a lot of it was just kind of like me taking any opportunity that was thrown at me. Like, I took some time off after college, and getting an opportunity on a pro team after you have taken 2 years off is
Yeah,
really, really hard, and so I was just so open to, like, anything that I was offered. That, like, really explains my entire journey of soccer, just, like, jumping at any opportunity that was given to me, and I had gone to Sky Blue Open tryouts under Denise Reddy, and I was in
hmm,
preseason for a couple weeks, and then I got cut, and oddly enough, I, like, had a friend who was playing on, like, a lower level team in Sweden who just sent me a text like, "Hey, we're looking for more American players, like, you wanna come?" It was like someone inviting you to, like, their house for dinner. That's, like, how casual
yeah,
it was, and I was like, "Yes, I'm there," and I was on a plane, like, less than a week later. And then I played in Sweden on another team, and that was me just saying like, "Yep, I'll play on this team," like, anything to get me minutes, to get me exposure. And then Denise Reddy offered for me to come back to Sky Blue, just, like, mostly as, like, a training player. I was like, immediately, yes. So I just, like I don't know how to explain it. It was long, but I'm proud of my journey, and I wouldn't change it at this point, whereas maybe while I was in Sweden or while I was a practice player, I would have told you, like, "I wish I could have just been drafted into the NWSL, and this all would have been so much easier." But now that I've, like, got some minutes in the league and I am where I am, I'm, like, really proud of everything that I went through to get here.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I have a question here from a fan from Twitter. This is Ellen saying, "What is your personal goal for this season?"
For this season,
Yeah.
my goal is to just get as many minutes as possible. I think the past 2 seasons, that's not something that I've gotten, and my goals have always been to just contribute in any way that I can and get better every day. Because I always say, like, I'll stop playing when I feel that I'm not improving anymore.
Yeah.
So, like, in general, obviously, my goals are to, like, improve every day, help the team in any way I can, but this season specifically, I want to work so hard that my coaches and my teammates are like, "We need her on the field at the end of games. She's our
Y-
closer. Put her in the game because she's gonna
Yeah.
help us whether we're winning or losing." So, that's kinda my goal for the season, to just continue to, like, prove that I can help the team on the field as much as, I contribute off of it.
Yeah. And you think a championship or going to the playoffs is a possibility for Gotham?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, team goals, like, our goal is to win, period.
Yeah.
This team is so competitive, like, even at training, we'll play small-sided, and we fight the entire time. Like, people are so upset if they this team is so competitive. Every single game we wanna win, and that will take us to winning the playoffs, and that will take us to, like, winning the championship. Like, we just wanna freaking win everything. Any loss to us feels like the end of the world. So yeah, like, I think this team has so much potential, and we're getting better every game. You can see it in training, like, the vibes change when we win. Our performances are better, our results are better, so I think that we're gonna end up peaking at the right time, hopefully, fingers
Yeah.
crossed, I believe.
Yeah. Changing the subject a little bit, we as people always strive to leave things better as we found them. And you, as an NWSLPA rep, I can definitely say that you have. And no matter what happens from here out in your career, you made the sport better and safer for current and future players. What does it mean to you to see the first CBA completed?
Oh, it's so cool to be a part of. I It's hard to find words for it because
Mhm.
I think, like, of course, it's really cool to be in the league when this, like, CBA is signed, but to be able to, like, witness the process of negotiating a CBA and just, like, sitting in meetings with lawyers and sitting in meetings with the players and, like, really thoroughly understanding the process, I think that that's an experience that not a lot of people get, and that's something that I'm, like, so grateful to have witnessed and been a part of. I always told myself that, like, no matter how much I play on this team, like, I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure that I contribute in some way, whether that is, like, doing community service with the club or being a PA rep or being on, like, different committees. I don't care how much I play on the field, like, I wanna be as involved as possible for as long as I'm playing. Like, people don't play for a very long time sometimes, and if I was only gonna be here for a year or 2 years, I'm like, I will be involved in whatever they let me be involved in. And so the CBA was no different in that sense. I was just like, I was so grateful to be a part of it, and I think watching it get signed and seeing the way that we're all gonna benefit from it, I think is really exciting for the future of the league and for my future too. Like, I think these salary increases will, like, expand my career years. There have been times that a lot of girls on minimum salaries on in this league would be like, "I don't know how much longer I can play for, like, I can't really afford to do this anymore," and I'm no longer in that position because of the salary increases from the CBA, and that's a really exciting feeling. So, yeah, it's just watching this whole process and watching it get signed and, like, seeing the excitement from it, it's been, like, something I'll never forget for sure.
Incredible.
I always think it trips me up sometimes when I think about how many players have like slipped through the cracks just because they couldn't afford it and they could have been national team players, and how many
Mhm.
talented players just couldn't make it because of the all those obstacles in front of them, and now all those
Totally.
doors are open.
That's something I
Eh,
think about so often, like, and not even just for myself. I've seen so many really good players retire early or leave and go get a job, and it's just how many good players left the game too early for those reasons. It drives me nuts sometimes because I'm like, we'll never get to see the full potential of like so many players because some people just like couldn't afford to stay in the league. So yeah, that's something I think about too.
And also, being a soccer player it's rewarding, but again, it's tough. So we don't talk about the mental side of the game enough, and I hope they have you back in another podcast where we can talk more about those type of things.
Mhm.
But like, what do you do personally to keep your mind and spirit level through all the ups and downs of being a pro player?
I spend a lot of time with friends and people I love, and I spend a lot of time with myself. Like I love just like laying in bed and or like hanging out with my dog or watching a show and doing some like mindless things because being in this league is really hard and it's really stressful. And I go through a lot of anxiety and a lot of ups and downs. You could see it just for me this year, right? The first Challenge Cup game, I subbed in pretty early. Then eventually I was not even making the roster, not on the travel roster. Then I was back on the roster and getting subbed in with 30 minutes. Like it's such a roller coaster ride as a part of like a team that's going through things and then as an individual that's going through things. And so I'm very open about like the anxiety that I've had. Like I've done regular therapy, I've done sports therapy. Like I do everything I can to try to make sure that like when I get to practice, I'm just level and I'm doing my job and that anxiety doesn't come out. But yeah, it's hard and I just do a lot of stuff that makes me happy off the field so that those vibes can like translate on the field.
And do you have any pregame superstitions?
Pre-game superstitions. I always drink coffee in the locker room. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's like a superstition, but I guess it is because at this point I've convinced myself that like I will not be capable of playing if I don't have my coffee. But
Yeah.
everything else I'm pretty like chill with. I'm just like I'm just a go with the flow. Like whatever's happening, I'm probably in on it, but like I'm always drinking my coffee.
Yeah. It's weird. Like as a player myself, you always when you have a really good game, you always think about like, what did I do? What
Oh
can I do to
yeah.
replicate that?
Oh
You
yeah.
do it again, and you have a terrible game. You're like,
Oh my
I give
god.
up.
Yeah. See, and that's why I don't have superstitions because I used to be like
Yeah.
that. Like in the past, if I had like played those 30 minutes against Louisville and like say I thought I had great 30 minutes, the next game I would have been like, I need to eat the exact same thing. I need to do
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
even I swear like before last game, it was our next home game from the Louisville game and I was sitting there that afternoon. I'm like, but I didn't have that sandwich that I had last time. For a second, it made me nervous, and then I was like, no, we don't do this. Like, we're not getting superstitious like this. Like, you just got to be, you just got to be confident. And so that's why I don't have superstitions anymore.
Yeah, I once was in a store before a game and I heard like Lifehouse on the radio. So like the next like 2, 3 or 4 games, I was listening to Lifehouse
Oh
before
my god.
the game,
Right?
and I
Yeah.
played terrible, and I was like, okay, why did I
Exactly.
just do all
Exactly.
that?
You can't convince yourself that that's gonna save you.
Well,
Yeah.
but talking about songs, what's your hype up song for game day?
I have a lot of songs that this is like people tell me I'm like psychopath for this. I just put my Apple Music on and it's like my music since I was 8 years old, like, you know, when you had to like save everything on iTunes and I just
Yeah.
press shuffle and I just let it roll. So it'll be like a Simple Plan song and then like it's all just so random. But one song that I always try to play, like getting closer to the stadium, is Keep Going by Mike Stud. It's like a
Yeah.
slower, like chiller song, but I don't know, it just makes me feel good vibes. So I always try to play it before the game.
We're all here from New Jersey, so
Nice.
Gotham is an interesting team. So, what do you think is a Jersey influence of this team? What one thing do you think is very Jersey about this team?
Ooh, that's very tough.
Mhm.
I want to say grit though. Jersey is like very attitudey, you could say. Like us Jersey people, like we don't take any shit. And I see that with this team every day. Like we get after each other. And even like in games against other teams, like we get after them. And I think that the more we like play together and the more confident we are in our style, you're seeing that a bit more. But like you'll see people like we're slide tackling, we're screaming at the ref, like The only thing we're not doing, like, we just try not to scream at each other. But, like, the grittiness of Jersey, like, I think it's starting to show more and more in this team, and I think that's, like, one of our core principles, like, that's what we want to take from Jersey is, like, that grittiness and that, like, rage.
Yeah. And speaking of the game that we just saw, Betos was in goal. She did the most like New York thing ever, where the ref was going to give her a card for time
Give
wasting, and
it.
she just looks up and gives him a thumbs up. It's like, go
Yeah.
ahead, card me.
Yeah,
I was
don't
like,
let
oh,
Betos fool you. She's a nice girl, but she's got some New York in her. She's got
yeah,
some New York. I
absolutely.
love that girl. Yeah, she had an unreal game. And I did
Yeah.
see her do that. Ref gave her a card and she was like, "Thank you very much. Thumbs up." It was great.
Yeah. So this team itself struggled early on in the season, finding the identity, but these last two games have shown like really good improvement. So
Mhm.
outside of your inclusion, which of course is
Of
the X
course.
factor, of
Yes.
course. But what do you think specifically is coming together for this team?
I think we're just building chemistry, like, I think when you have new players and, like, a relatively new coach, I think it just takes time, and I wouldn't say we have, like, a ton of new players, but the new players that we do have are, like, very important to the way that we play, and they play so differently than maybe we've seen in the past with some of our players, so I think it's just, like, taking time to understand what everyone's, like, super strengths are and figuring out, like, how we can best use those, like, the better we get to know each other on the field, I think the more you're gonna see it come together, and I actually don't even think, like yeah, we've played well these past 2 games, but I don't think we're anywhere, like, near our peak, so I think you'll just, like, see that the more we play each other as the season goes on.
All right, Nicole, I really do want to thank you for coming on. We're
Yeah.
absolutely rooting for you. Now the fans have a good idea of who you are, and I hope we can get a deeper conversation next time you come back. Good luck this season, starting with June 11th.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I will come back anytime. Clearly, I'm a talker, so anytime you guys want me on a podcast, I literally don't shut up, so podcasts
we
are my
need
thing.
we need a
All
part
right.
two.
Yeah,
Yes.
so
Yes.
anytime. Thank you
And if
guys.
one of us can't make it, we'll just plug you in.
I
I'm
know, right?
in. Co-host
All right.
me.
All right. So, all right, fans. So that's our show for this week. We will be back next Thursday, as always. Gotham returns to action on 8:30 p.m. in Kansas City. We're ready for this matchup against Kansas City. You ready, Nicole?
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
We're
I'm so
ready.
pumped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.